Hello viola students! Today we are going to start work on your KMEA excerpts for year 3. This means that you'll be using these excerpts for District Honors Orchestra Auditions in November of 2020 and again for State Orchestra Auditions in January of 2021. Right now it's springtime and I know that it seems like that is a really long way away. But please keep in mind that the standards for these auditions are incredibly high. You're practicing the same music as kids all over the state, and you're competing against kids from all over the state. It's very important that you have everything really well organized, that you're playing super cleanly, everything is in tune, and that everything sounds absolutely amazing. Today we're going to start off taking everything under tempo, going nice and slowly. I want you to focus on, first of all, having a beautiful tone. And secondly, on getting the right note with the right finger at the right time. The idea is that we just want to get the tune in your ear or in your head so that it is easier to get it nice and clean and to get it faster and to put in dynamics and phrasing and all of the other things that take those little black dots on the page and turn them into music and make you have a wonderful audition this fall and winter. So for those of you who have not done a KMEA audition before, we have a set of 2 scales and a set of 3 excerpts that you need to prepare. I know that those of you who will be incoming freshmen have probably never played as high as these scales go before in your life. That's okay. I don't want you to stress out. I don't want you to freak out. I don't want you to give up. I want you to take it nice and slow. I want you to trust the fingerings that I have in the parts. I want you to use the fingering charts that are down here at the bottom of the PDFs. These PDFs should be in your email. If they're not and you need to get a copy from me, just let me know and I'll send them over to you. If you're not one of my students and you would like these PDFs with my fingerings, feel free to reach out, mandadeegan@gmail.com or 785-341-2485. Go ahead and send me a text message or an email and I'll be happy to send the PDFs over to you. If you're looking for clean copies of these PDFs without any fingerings or bowings on them, you can download those at the Kansas Music Educators Association website. For today, we're going to get started nice and slow. We're going to put no slurs in these scales. And we're just going to play every note as a quarter note at 60 beats per minute, so quite a bit slower than the marked tempo. Now, a couple of things that I want you to think about. We're going to be moving up the viola quite a bit. For those of you who are more petite and play big violas, this is going to be a challenge, especially if you've never played high before. A couple of things that I want you to think about. As you shift higher up the instrument, make sure that you are taking your thumb with you. Don't try and leave your thumb behind and then stretch up here with your fingers. It's not going to work and it's going to be uncomfortable. Think about reaching with your elbow underneath the instrument and then your fingers will come down over the fingerboard without any problems at all. Also remember that the higher up the instrument you get, the closer together your steps become. So your fingers will be really right on top of each other as we get up towards the end of that fingerboard. We're going to start with an E flat major scale. We're going to start in second position. All right, remember that the E flat major scale has 3 flats, B flat, E flat, and A flat. Make sure that you're listening to those pitches. All right, you know what a major scale should sound like. I know that it's a little bit more difficult to hear these pitches once we get way up into that top octave. The more you practice it, the easier it will become. We're going to start with a quarter note at 60, and every note is going to be a quarter note in its own bow. So first of all, let's just find that E flat in second position. So if you play open 1, low 2, and get that note in your head, and then just move your whole hand up half a step. There's our E flat. Here we go. 1, 2, E flat major, go. know that that might seem like a silly fingering to some of you to start in second position instead of to start in first position, but I really want you to trust me on this, because as we start speeding it up, that actually eliminates some shifts for us by starting in second position and makes it just go a little bit more smoothly. So let's go ahead and try it one more time. Find your E flat. Here we go. 1, 2, E flat major, go. Nicely done. Our second scale is A minor. A minor is relative to C major. That means that there are no sharps and no flats in the key signature. However, we're going to be playing a melodic minor scale. A melodic minor scale has a different pattern going up than coming down. As you ascend or go up the scale, you are going to raise the 6th and 7th notes of each octave by half a step. That means that F natural and G natural are going to become F sharp and G sharp as you go up the scale. Now, as you come back down the scale or descend, you're going to go back to your naturals. They're going to become G natural and F natural again as you come back down. That means that we have a different fingering pattern on the way up and a different fingering pattern on the way down. That's why on your PDF, you have this middle fingering chart, which is going to help you get up the scale or ascend. And then this fingering chart on the far right is going to help you descend the scale. You'll also notice that there are half steps marked in on the fingerings above all of the notes. All right, so take those to heart. Make sure that you're moving those fingerings around as we go up the scale and back down the scale. Now, I also know that this gets incredibly high. It will get easier the more you practice it. Don't stress out, just continue to take it slow. We have plenty of time to get up to tempo. Being in tune is the most important thing when we're playing scales. So yet again, we're going to set our tempo at 60 beats per minute, and we're going to play quarter notes. So this one, we are going to start in first position, first finger on the G string. We're going to go up quite a bit. Remember, stretch with your elbow underneath the viola. Don't try and stretch with your fingers. 1, 2, A minor, go. Let's go ahead and give that one more try just to really practice getting all the way up there. 1, 2, A minor, go. Nice job. You can't practice these scales too much, all right? And you can also feel free to practice these scales slowly as much as you would like to, all the way up until auditions. Focus on intonation, practice with a drone, whatever is going to help you. And if you need additional help figuring out how to practice these scales and get them in tune, that's why I'm here. Please feel free to ask me for help with practicing your scales. I think it's the most important part. Our next excerpt is Berlioz, the Roman Carnival Overture, which is really, really a beautiful viola line. It's lots and lots of fun to play. I actually got to play this orchestrally last year, which is always super, super exciting to get to play some of the excerpts that I get to work on with you guys. So that was really, really neat. It's just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Berlioz wrote some very, very cool stuff for viola. He gave a lot of viola love. So really have some fun with this one. It's in a terrible key. It's E major, which means that we have 4 sharps: F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. So in first position, that really means that we can't play very many of our open strings. You can't play open C because C is a sharp. You can't play G because G is a sharp. You can't play D because D is a sharp. That means that it's hard to get the viola to really ring in this key. It's a difficult key to keep in tune, so you really, really got to work on it slowly. Luckily, this is an excerpt that goes quite slowly. So you'll notice that there are a lot of dynamics in this excerpt. You'll notice that there are some higher notes in treble clef. Don't stress out about the treble clef. Just trust me when use the fingerings that we've got marked in. I'm pretty sure that I have every single fingering for those couple of measures of treble clef marked in for you to get you started. All right, you're going to be in 4th position and then in 3rd position. I also know that there are some strange positions in this excerpt. We have 2nd position, we have 4th position. Now, I know that most of you are probably more comfortable in 3rd position and in 5th position, and that's okay, but I really want you to use these weird positions for this excerpt because I think you'll find as we get more comfortable with the excerpt that those positions are going to make it easier to play in tune and to get from string to string and where you need to be. All right, so our tempo on this is marked 50 to 52. We're going to go ahead and take it on the slow side. All right, we're going to start in 3rd position with a C sharp, so that's a high 3rd finger. Make sure that you've got that in tune. Here we go. Ready, go. That's the end of the excerpt. So it is very lush, very pretty. It's in a really, really beautiful range for the viola. This one is one that you really just want to focus on getting that beautiful, beautiful tone and getting it in tune. It's just really, really difficult to get it in tune. This would be a great opportunity for you to practice your E major scale. Our next excerpt is Brahms. This is from Symphony No. 2, the 3rd movement. That's the fast movement, and you'll notice that the tempo on this is marked quite quickly. Quarter note equals 84 to 92. Now, this thing is going to go pretty quick. We are going to start off again considerably slower at 60 beats per minute. Luckily, it's in a really, really friendly key. We're in G major, so that makes things easy. We do have some half position, and we do have some double stops. Now, these are octave double stops in many cases, which are incredibly difficult to get in tune. For right now, just starting off, we're going to play only the top notes of those double stops because I want you to get the tune in your head more than anything else. Once you get the tune in your head, we'll start talking about putting together those double stops and whether or not that's appropriate for auditions. And you'll notice that there are already fingerings for that, but for right now, I do not want you to stress out about those. I do want you to try and avoid playing open strings for sustained notes, or if you have like if you look at the third and fourth measure, you have a bunch of Ds right in a row. Please don't play those all open D. Eventually, we will also be playing spiccato. We'll be bouncing off the string. For right now, I'm not super concerned about that. I just want you to get the right note at the right time in tune. So we're going to start in third position. Find your D. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready, and here we go. One and two. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And 1 and 2. That's it. Now, this excerpt is again going to go quite a bit faster than that. We're going to get some bounces off of the string. We're going to get some double stops in there. For right now, it's just important that you get that tune in your head. Now, our last excerpt, tons of fun. This is by Ionesco. It's Romanian Rhapsody #1, and it is quite fun. It also goes quite quickly. We are going to go considerably slower than this. I'm actually going to set the metronome for 3 clicks per beat, but I'm going to set the beat, so the dotted quarter note, for 20. I know that that seems ridiculously slow, but this then becomes our 8th note. Okay, so here we go. If you look at your key, we're in A major, which means that your very first note is a C sharp. It's a low 1. Make sure that you're not playing a big old open C right there. Again, we've got some places in here where we've got some very strange second position. I promise that if you practice it that way, it will be easier in the long run. So here is the Ionesco. Ready, beginning, go. So again, that is 1/3 of our eventual tempo, all right? It's going to go quite a bit faster. There's a bunch of jumping around though, and there's some interesting bowings, there's some fast notes, but there's also notes that look fast that then turn out not to be quite as quick. If you look at that second line, there are a couple of measures of 8th notes with grace notes. Those look like they should go pretty fast, but relative to the 32nd notes that we have in the 3rd measure of the 1st line, they're quite a bit slower, and those 8th rests are worth, each one of those 8th rests is worth 4 of your 32nd notes that were in the 3rd measure of the first line. So it's very important that you're practicing with the metronome. Continue to practice along with this video until this tune is really, really in your ear. Then it will be much, much easier to speed it up. So practice with a beautiful tone. Use the fingerings that I have marked in. If you just absolutely do not like a fingering, or if it's too great of a stretch for your hand, whatever reason, please talk to me about it and we can discuss changing the fingering and finding something that works better for you. Chances are I might just try and convince you that the fingering that we've marked in is the correct fingering, and I really, really want you to work with it and try it. Please reach out to me if you have any questions at all, or if there's anything that I can do to help. That's my job. I'm here to help you be awesome at these excerpts. Until I see you at your lessons, happy practicing, and I will talk to you soon.